and welcome back. This is your retired happy friend from Mississippi. I'm Carolyn, and I'm so glad you came today. Today is Wednesday, and the video that I have for you, you will see tomorrow. So I prepared it, part of it on Sunday, part of it last week, but we are just past Labor Day. And I'm so glad you came in. We're rocking on down to September, and fall is in the air. The crunch of the leaves are on the ground, and we are enjoying a little taste of fall. So today on the video, I'm going to share with you my Labor Day lunch. I had my hot dog that I got at the grocery store, and I made some broccoli slaw, which the broccoli slaw recipe is in the Cooking with Maggie cookbook. Simple, easy, super good for this time of the summer. And my baked beans, which I like the little can of the Bush's baked barbecue beans. And I will share that with you. And then I'm going to get into my tallow making, and this is a very abbreviated little report on what I did on making the tallow, because as I explained, I'm just sharing with you my experiences, and this is the first time I've tried it. And if any of you have made it and done it before, please put in the comments how you do it and what you have found to work well, because I learned a lot through this first process of making my tallow. I started out with what I now know is fat cuts that I got from my local grocery store. I asked them to save some fat cuts, and that's what I got. So now that I have been through this process, and I have been watching many videos on how to make tallow, and this is my tallow cream. The top of it stayed whipped. I have a little bit that is separating in the bottom, but it stays put when I turn it. So I'm loving it. This I'm definitely using on my hands and my arms and my legs, and it is a little bit grainy and has just a tiny touch of odor to it from the beef. So next time I'm going to follow some of the method. I really like Bumblebee Apothecary, so I really recommend her channel. A Little Bit Homestead was another one that I have been watching, and Marissa on Bumblebee Apothecary has been, I think, my most helpful video, so I recommend her. But I'm going to show you over my very first attempt to make tallow, and then after we make the tallow, I'm going to show you the pattern and how to do the little chicken mug rugs. So this has been much requested, and I will show how to do that. Now on the chicken video, I don't talk on it, but I show you, and I will put the dimensions. This is the chicken pattern, and I'm going to make a picture of it and put it on the screen so you can copy it. So I traced over the chicken, and then I traced over the wing, and I cut that out. So the key and the main point on this, and on the pumpkin, this is the pumpkin mug rug pattern that I made last time, but I like to use the fusible batting that I had left over from making some of my quilts. And when I put the fusible batting on the back of my top piece of fabric, and then I use some fusible Pellon on the little wings and on the nose, and it makes it much easier to handle. So I've got that today, and that will be today's video. And then next week, I had a lot of requests and a lot of positive feedback that you would like to see the fall getting dressed with me on a frugal budget. So next week, that's what we'll do. And I'm not sure whether it will be on Monday or whether it will be on Wednesday, but it will be one day next week. Depends on when I can get to Costco and get all of that coordinated and put together. But fall is around the corner, and the fall clothing items are starting to come in, and I found out with the spring, if I don't get it when it's just coming in and there's a good supply and selection, sometimes when I go back to get something that I really liked, it's all gone. So that will be next week. So I hope you're enjoying some of my content, because I'm sharing with you things that give me joy and happiness in my retirement journey, things that give me a purpose in life that I look forward to every day, I look forward to working on, and just things that make life fun and enjoyable, because I still enjoy doing things that make me feel productive and like I have a purpose in life. And I'm making pretty good progress on my knitting. I have completely, this is my first, well, no, the dishcloth was my first knitting project, but this is my second knitting project. This is the arm cover for my chair in my sunroom, and I made one row of single crochet around the edge of the arm cover when I got finished, and then I did some of the stitches together to make it form and shape around the end of the chair arm. So this is my second one, and I ran out of yarn, so I had to go back to Hobby Lobby and get some more yarn to finish this one. And while I was out, I did a run by Beverly's shop. And Beverly is my good friend who has a wonderful specialty yarn shop, the Southern Needle. And if you missed that video, go back and watch that video. We did a tour of her yarn shop. She's located in Ridgeland, and it's the Southern Needle. So she got me started on my next project, which this is a whole new this is a whole new ball gaming project. So this is my yarn that I selected, and this yarn is Barocco Sesame. And the pattern is a scarf, and I'm going to be making a scarf. She told me I was not ready to tackle socks yet, so I've got to do a little more practicing. But it's going to be a cowl scarf, and she has two of the scarves already made up in her shop, and I really liked them. So she's teaching me this time how to use this kind of needles. All of you experienced knitters will know exactly what all of this is about. So I have to learn some new stitches. I have to learn knit two together and yarn over to make that pattern. So this is my new project I have. I love to have something new to work on, and that's where making my tallow and making this new project in my knitting comes in. I like to have something to look forward to. Oh, and back to my tallow. I was able to contact a local cattleman here who is local, who raises his own cows, and he raises grass-fed cattle, no antibiotics, no growth hormones, and he is going to look and save some soot for me, and that is going to be the fat that is around the kidneys, that is the prime fat, the most desirable fat for making tallow. So I'm super excited. He has my name and phone number, and he's going to call me and let me know as soon as he has some soot available. So I'll keep you posted on that project, and I'll keep you posted on my knitting project. So I wanted to share with you that Sunday at church we had the blessing of the pets. So the only pets we had there were dogs. We didn't have any birds or cats or lizards or any other pets, but Maisie got to go, and we had a really nice group. Our pastor, Brother David, did a wonderful message on the blessing of the pets and thanked God for his creatures that God has given us for our comfort and our enjoyment. And he blessed all of the pets, so Maisie got blessed. And Maisie behaved herself so well. I was so proud of her for behaving around all the other dogs, and there were some pretty big dogs there. So she got to make friends with them and really behaved well. But he also asked or said a prayer for us, for the pet owners, that we would be good stewards of our pets, and that we would take good care of the creatures that God has given us for our comfort and our benefit. And I have been so grateful for my little pet. She is so much company, and her main job, I've told you, is to take me for a walk every afternoon. And so far she's doing a good job. She has fun and she enjoys it, and she knows when it's time to go for a walk in the evening. So that's my thankful for today. It's that God has provided domesticated animals, whether it's cats or dogs or birds. I even had horses there for a while. I've had chickens, I've had ducks, I had a rabbit, I had a guinea pig. And I just thank God that He did create animals to keep us company and for our benefit. So that's my thankful for today. Now, the good word for today, Sunday at church, our pastor was finishing up Luke, and he started on chapter 16 and verse 19. And those of you who read your Bible a lot or will be familiar with this, and those of you who are not, or who can share it with someone else, please read this verse by verse and read this scripture. This is about the certain rich man and Lazarus, the beggar. And the certain rich man had everything, all the comforts of life, and Lazarus was the beggar. He had probably leprosy. He had sores on his body, and he sat at the table and begged for scraps. Well, in the end, when the rich man died, he went to a place of torment that we call hell. And Lazarus, when he died, he went to the bosom of Abraham in heaven. So read that part, and if anybody has a doubt on whether there is a hell or not, read these scriptures where the rich man is asking Father Abraham to please send somebody to warn his brothers and to warn his neighbors so that they won't go to the place of torment where he is. And he begs Lazarus to come just to touch a little bit of water on his tongue to give him a little bit of relief. And Father Abraham said there was a big chasm that he couldn't cross over. So that's the good word for today. Thank you, Lord, that those of us who trust in Jesus Christ as our Savior will go to the place where there's no torment, no tears. So let's get on with making the tallow. And I'm so excited to learn this new technique, this new craft, this new process. And I am using the tallow cream, and I'm loving it. It feels so good on my skin and hands. So thank you so much, every one of you who joined me on Monday and on Thursday. Thank you so much for all of your comments, for all of your support, for all your encouragement. And I'm so glad that you keep coming back to visit my channel. Now today is going to be a quick lunch with me because we have so much to cover with the rendering the tallow, getting ready to make the skin cream, and with the little chicken mug rug. So this is my lunch today. It's Labor Day, so I'm having my hot dog. I have my Nathan's hot dog franks. I have my hot dog roasted in my toaster oven, and I'm putting it on one of the Nature's Own hot dog butter buns. That's the last bun that I have, so I'm finishing that up. I'm going to put my Bush's barbecue beans with it, and I made the broccoli slaw. Now the broccoli slaw recipe is in the Cooking with Maggie cookbook, and it is a good summer favorite. So Kroger has the packages of broccoli slaw already cut up, and I really like it. I put some dried cranberries in it, and on this time I put some chopped walnuts. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I did this time. And then on top of that, I used the Kroger Whip Classic. Now this is the Kroger brand of Miracle Whip. And they also have, which I haven't been able to find recently, but Kroger also makes a really good slaw dressing that's in this kind of bottle. But this is what I got. And since they didn't have the slaw dressing, I just sprinkled a little bit of sugar on it. But that's going to be my lunch today. I have my beans, my hot dog, and on top of my hot dog, I'm going to put a little bit of sauerkraut, just because sauerkraut is so good for you in digestion. So I have the broccoli slaw, the beans, and to drink, I have my POM juice, and this is POM. It's antioxidant superpower, 100% pomegranate juice. And I get that at Costco. So that's my lunch today. Very, very good for Labor Day. So I hope you're having a wonderful Labor Day. And I'm going to go sit down and eat my hot dog while it's still hot. Now this is the first time I have made the tallow bomb. So it's been in the crock pot since about 10 o'clock this morning. And about 2 hours ago, I took my potato masher and I went in and mashed a lot of the fat out of the big pieces so I could go ahead and get the fat rendered. So what I'm going to do now is scoop it out of my crock pot into this strainer into a large bowl so I can strain out the big pieces of fat that's left. So I have it in the strainer. After I get most of the solid strained out of it, I'm going to go ahead and put my little calendula flowers in it so it can infuse into the oil. This is a real learning experiment. So I'm going to wipe as much of the remaining solids out of my crock pot as I can with a paper towel so I can get it cleaned up and ready to put this strained liquid back in. So I'm going to pour the oil back into the crock pot, and I'm kind of playing this by ear, so y'all just be patient with me. So I found a very porous, clean dishcloth, and I have all of the solids poured into the cloth, and I'm going to bring it up and just squeeze it. Now this is the rag that I had the rest of the beef in, so that's the discards. I might put that in a bag for Maisie's future meals, but I've gotten this much more oil out by squeezing it. So now I'm going to add that to that oil in the crock pot. I just poured it through my colander again and got a lot more of the solids out. And I am finding this takes a lot of practice, and I am losing a lot of my oil each time I pour it through and get my solids out. So this does take some practice and some expertise to do it. But since this is my first time, this is a learning process. So I'm just got a piece of fabric and I'm putting it in the bottom of my colander. I'm going to pour the oil through one more time. You can see there's not a whole lot of solids left. And this time when I pour it through, I'm going to go ahead and put the calendula blooms in it so it can infuse into the oil and sit overnight. This time squeezing and filtering my oil, I got this much solids. So now my end result on what I have right now is this. And that is a long way from where we started. So I'm going to pour this back in, and I'm going to leave it overnight with the calendula blooms. And I will tell you this, all of this has not gone to waste yet. So I am putting it in a plastic bag to put in the freezer for future dog food recipes. And while my hands are so oily, I've been rubbing it on my arms, I've rubbed it on my legs, so I'm not letting the oil go to waste either. Now these are the calendula flowers, and on the back of it, the instructions say the calendula flowers soaked in olive oil. Now this is for a drink, and it's to help for gastritis, colitis, stomach ulcers, and gastric distresses. So I'm not using it for a drink, I'm using it for my face cream. So it says to use it a 1:10 ratio. And these are the calendula blooms. That's the little package of them. So I'm going to go, since it's going to soak overnight. Now this is my first time to do this, y'all. So that is the little flower right there. And these are the petals that are coming out. So I'm going to put that whole thing in because I am going to strain it after it infuses overnight. I had bought some face cream about 3-4 years ago that was a calendula face cream, and it did wonders for my face. I really, really loved it. So I'm anxious to see how this does. And if any of you have done this before and made tallow balm or tallow oil body cream and body oil, please put it in the comments. You will not hurt my feelings at all, because this is a first time experiment. As you can tell, I'm learning as I go. So that's the fun thing about being retired, is you have time to play around with just things you're curious about. So I'm going to put the lid on this. I'm going to give it a little swoosh around in the oil, and then I'm going to let it sit overnight and infuse. Now this is the next morning, and my tallow has set overnight. And this morning I turned my crock pot on low, just enough to melt the tallow. So we are now on the downhill stretch. I'm going to put it through the colander again to strain out all of the calendula blooms. And I'm going to strain it several times today to try to get it as refined as I can. Now this is the calendula blooms. So I strained those out. I still have a lot down in my bowl. So I've got to figure out and think how I'm going to strain that to get it as purified as I can. Now I have this little strainer, and I wish I had a bigger one, but I don't. So I'm going to have to work with what I have. And this is a learning process. So I will learn. If I like this and I want to do it again, I'll know a little bit better next time the equipment that I need. I'm glad I got as much beef fat as I did, because I thought that would make a lot, but I'm seeing that I lose so much in this process. So on this straining, I have a finer hold strainer, and I'm going to put a piece of fabric across the bottom and pour the oil through that and let it sit there and let all of it drip through. So after I strain it this time, I'm going to let it sit at room temperature and wait until the tallow starts to solidify. And just when it starts to solidify is when we're going to take the hand mixer and we're going to start whipping it so we get our whipped tallow balm. I'm going to let this sit and let the oil drip through and try to catch the remaining little particles. Now the tallow has started to solidify and we are ready to whip it. So the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of the tallow, 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, and 27 drops of the lavender essential oils. And since I have it, I'm going to use it, is 1/2 teaspoon of vitamin E oil, and this is vitamin E body oil. I got this little bottle at Dollar Tree. So we have 1/2 cup and 2 tablespoons of the avocado oil. I feel like I'm doing a science project back in chemistry in school. 27 drops of the lavender. 25, 26. Okay, I think that's 26 oil drops. Okay, now we're going to whip it, and it says whip it for 3 to 5 minutes until it's light and fluffy. This is what it's like when we're starting, and we'll see how it comes out. I do have my little whisk attachment on my hand mixer. I've been whipping my tallow, and I put it in the refrigerator so it would get a little bit more solid, and I have beat it again, but it's not getting, it is whiter and lighter, but it hasn't gotten fluffy yet. So I'm going to pour this on up in my jar. I am going to use it for sure. I'm not going to let it go to waste, but I'm going to try my pure tallow without the avocado oil in it, and I'll just see if that whips up fluffy. So with that making, I have almost a pint of cream. So let's try just the pure tallow and see if that beats up. Isn't that pretty? It did turn out white, and it smells like lavender. It doesn't smell like tallow now. Now this is just the tallow without the avocado oil and the vitamin E in it, and it did stay whipped. I whipped it for 5 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed this experiment. Please let me know in the comments if you have made this before and how you make your tallow bomb. And it was much easier to beat in a deep in the measuring cup than it was in the bowl. So with my 2 pounds of beef fat, I got this jar is the tallow with the avocado oil and the calendula. This is the beef tallow, and I put the lavender essential oil in it. And this was the last one I did with the last little bit, and it's just tallow. I had some amber, so I put some amber in it. So that's a pretty good bit. That will last me for quite a while. Maisie. Let's go on down. There's a big cloud coming up. Come on. Maisie. Come on. This is the sniffingest little dog. She must be a hunter. Come on, Maisie. Let's go this way. Oh no, what did, uh-oh, no. That's somebody's lunch bag they left out there. No, 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 no. We're not going to get that. The crickets or the katydids are really singing. Maisie, do you hear those bugs? I think they're katydids, and they're right up in this tree. Right up over us. And that's why they're so